राम राम हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। जय राम माधव हरे। जय राम बिहारी। जय राम हरे। जय गोपीनाथ राम गोपीनाथ राम हरे। जय राम राम राम। जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय श्री प्रभुपाद। जय नाम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम् देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नश्य प्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. So today we are going to read from Canto 6, chapter 12, verse number 14 and 15. So we recite the verse number 14. तस्मादकीर्ति यस्य योर् जया अपजयायोरपि समस्यात् सुख दुःखाभ्याम् मृत्यु जीवितयोस्तथा तस्मादकीर्ति यस्य सो जया अपजयोरपि अपजय समस्यात् सुख दुःखाभ्याम् मृत्यु जीवितयोस्तथा तस्मादकीर्ति यस्य सोर् जया अपजयोर् जप जया अपजयोरपि समस्यात् सुख दुःखाभ्याम् मृत्यु जीवितयोस्तथा समस्यात् सुख दुःखाभ्याम् मृत्यु जीवितयोस्तथा न समादगीति यस्य सो जयापजयोरपि तमस्यात् सुखदुःखाभ्याम् मृत्यु जीवितयो सदा तस्मादसीति यशसो माता जी तस्मादकीति यशसो नयापजयोरपि स्यात् सुखदुःखाभ्याम् जीवितयो सदा. Word to word meaning. Tasmat, therefore, because of being fully dependent on the pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Akirti of defamation, Yashasho and fame, Jaya of victory, Apajayayo and defeat, Api even, Sama equal, Syat one should be, Sukha Dukkhabhyam with the distress and happiness, Mrityu of death, Jivitayo or of living, Tatha, as well as translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Srila Prabhupada. Since everything is dependent on the supreme will of the personality of Godhead, one should be equipoised in fame and defamation, victory and defeat, life and death in their effects represented as happiness and distress. One should maintain oneself in equilibrium without anxiety. So we'll just also read verse number 15. Sattam rajasamaiti prakritenatmano guna tatra sakshinam atmanam yo veda sanabhadyate. Sattvam, the mode of goodness, Raja, the mode of passion, Tama, the mode of ignorance. Iti thus, Prakriti, of the material nature, Na, not, Atmana, of the soul, spirit soul, Guna, the qualities, Tatra, in such a position, Shakshinam, an observer, Atmanam, the self, Ya, anyone who, Veda knows, Sa, he, Na, not, Badhyate, is bound. Translation by His Divine Grace Bhaktivinoda Srila Prabhupada. One who knows that the three qualities goodness, passion, and ignorance are not qualities of the soul but qualities of material nature, and who knows that the pure soul is simply an observer of the actions and reactions of these qualities, should be understood to be a liberated person. He is not bound by these qualities. Purport by Sri Divine Grace Bhaktan Srila Prabhupada. As the Lord explains in Bhagavad Gita 18.54, Brahma Bhuta Prasanna na sochti na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. One who is transcendental situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and becomes wholly joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. When one attains self-realization, the Brahma Bhuta 4. Srimad Bhagavatam 4.30.20 stage, one knows that whatever happens during his life is due to the contamination of the modes of material nature. The living entity, the living being, the pure soul has nothing to do with these modes. In the midst of the hurricane of the material world, everything changes very quickly. But if one remains silent and simply observes the actions and reactions of the hurricane, he is understood to be liberated. The real qualification of the liberated soul is that he remains Krishna conscious, undisturbed by the actions and reactions of material energy. So, a liberated person is always jubilant. He never laments or aspires for anything. Since everything is supplied by the Supreme Lord, the living entity is being fully dependent on him should not protest or accept anything in terms of his personal sense gratification. Rather, he should receive everything as the mercy of Lord and remain steady in all circumstances. ॐ अज्ञानतिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं साधुवैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधां कृष्णपादां सरणललिता श्रीविशाखावितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in verse number 14, the one of the major themes of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, that is tolerance, is being given, how one should be equipoised in fame and defamation, victory and defect, and their effects represented by happiness and distress. And in verse number 15, further explanation is given that why we should remain tolerant, because whatever we are doing, any act we are doing under the three modes, and these are not the of soul but of the body. And therefore one who becomes an observer, he who sees that he is not his body but spirit soul, is on the platform of soul, he can remain very peaceful and be tolerant of the material conditions. So let us see this topic from this perspective, different angles. um, Krishna introduces this tolerance in verse number 2.14 from Bhagavad Gita. And he tells that Mata Spasya Sukaunte Sitoshna Sukha Dukkada Agama Apayanityas Tam Titikshava Bharata. So he says that this a non-prompt appearance of happiness and distress, and that disappearance in due course are like appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons, and they arise from sun's perception. O Seen of Bharata, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So all happiness and distress which we experience in this material world is because of our sense perception. There are no actually happiness or distress really in this material world. It is because how we perceive the thing, it all depends on that. And therefore, if we see Krishna after 2.14 of the verses, he talks about the body and soul and the difference between the both, to tell us that if we are on the level of soul, then there is no problem and we will be not be having experiencing these difficulties. So in there are different aspects when this word tolerance being used. So we'll see different purports how Prabhupada uses this word tolerance and how he brings out different things in different from different angles. So one of the purport speaks that envious people create many impediments to the Krishna conscious movement, but we have to tolerate them. There is no alternative. One must be peaceful and depend on Krishna in all circumstances. These are the ornaments of a sadhu. So one of the biggest ornament of sadhu is tolerant. If one is not tolerant, one cannot be told as sadhu, and for preaching purposes, one needs to be sadhu. So in 11th canto, third chapter, verse number 24 again, there are different qualities of Brahman or sadhu described. In one of the qualities, titiksham or tolerance. So there, Prabhupada describes the word titiksham or tolerance indicates that a transcendentalist must be forgiving. The material world is full of embarrassing and irritating situations, and unless one is inclined to be very much forgiving, he will become infected by the vindictive mentality, which spoils one's spiritual consciousness. So, tolerance and forgiveness are one side of the same coin. If one is not forgiving, one cannot be tolerant. And why we should be tolerant is because if we do not tolerate others and we are not forgiving, then in turn, there is a vindictive mentality. That means we are here to revenge somebody or revenge something wrong. And our whole consciousness goes from the spiritual thing to taking revenge. And therefore, we will not be able to practice bhakti very nicely. And therefore, if we are not able to practice bhakti nicely, then what is the use of being uh, tolerant, or what the use of being uh, practicing this type of bhakti, because ultimately we'll not be able to reach our goal. Similarly, there are different aspects of tolerance. So, yeah, if we are not tolerant, then we can't chant the holy names of Lord constantly. Just by tolerance, we can chant to please Lord Krishna. So even if you want to please Krishna, this is the one of the quality which is highlighted. So in chapter 13 also, verse number 8 to 12, where different qualities of where the gyan is being established. What is gyan? The first thing which is humility, and then different amayantana badam adam vittam, and then tolerance comes and all. So these are all interrelated, and this quality if is not there, we cannot chant the Lord's name constantly. And when we are merciful to others, then only we can become tolerant. So unless and until we are not merciful to others, we cannot be tolerant. Also, we must be humble. Then only we can bend. With when there is heavy minds, the grass. When there is heavy winds, the grass bends, and when the wind go is gone, it becomes straight again. So humility helps us to become tolerant. So one of the other element which is humility. If one is humble, one can be tolerant. If one is not humble, one cannot be even tolerant. So humility is an aspect that where we consider oneself that we are less than a blade of grass. So it's not depression. Generally, there is difference between humility and depression. In humility, a person grows stronger, whereas in depression, he goes down and he thinks there is a low self-esteem. But in humility, there is no low self-esteem, but he's dependent on Krishna in so many circumstances. And therefore, humility is very important if one wants to become tolerant. Another aspect of being tolerant is not to expect anything from others. When we keep expecting from others, then we can never be tolerant. When we learn not to expect anything from others, then we'll be tolerant. So, where as devotees and individuals, we expect a lot of things from others. We accept some service from others. We accept good food, good clothing, good shelter, good words, good things that somebody should obey us. And there are so many things we expect. Brahmacharis expect a lot, grahasthas expect a lot, sannyasis expect the most from others because they are the height, and the eventually opposite also happens. So when there is expectations, then being tolerant is very difficult, and majority expectations will not be fulfilled in our this life. This is a proven fact that most of our expectations will not be fulfilled, and therefore we need to be tolerant. And therefore uh, the thing is that we should not expect much from others, and if we are expecting, we should not expect that the expectation will be made by others. The expectation that the expectation will be met by others is the cause of misery, and that needs to be tolerated. Then, while explaining the kind of nature of Prithu Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada nicely mentioned the words forgiving and forgetful. More we remember with fault-finding attitude the offenses done by others, then our heart becomes burdened, and there is no place for calling Krishna to sit in our heart. We must forgive and then forget. So, uh, why we forgive or why we tolerate is not we are doing anything good to others, because we want that Krishna should sit in our heart, not the other persons. If we are not tolerant, we don't forgive others. What will happen is all the people from all over the world, this has done this to me, this has done told this to me, all will sit on our heart, and there is no place for Krishna to sit in our heart. And if Krishna is not sitting in our heart, then we cannot go back to Godhead. And therefore, not only we should forgive, but even after forgiving, we should forget the incident altogether. Sometimes we forgive the persons, but the grudge remains our heart that at least we should do something, or some bad thing remains, that also should be not be remaining. So Prithu Maharaj could be tolerant because he was merciful, forgiving, and forgetting the offense done to him. So we can't be artificially tolerant. Tolerance can be developed only on the basis of sadhana. So to develop tolerance, we need very good sadhana. If our sadhana is not good, we cannot develop tolerance. So outwardly, we may say that I have forgotten you, that I have done this, I am okay with this, what you are doing, I am done. But internally, if don't have practiced good sadhana, then we cannot be tolerant. When we surrender to instructions of Guru and seek protection of Rishikesh, then we will be blessed with the gift of tolerance. So when we follow the instructions of Guru and Parampara very nicely, very strongly, and then seek protection of Krishna, as Rishikesh is the controller of senses, then we can get the gift of tolerance. That this gift of tolerance can. So we sincerely pray at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev to bestow their causeless mercy upon us so that we can engage in loving devotional service. So prayers are one of the most important thing if we want to develop tolerance. Whenever there is a thing that we are not able to tolerate something, we can pray to Krishna. Krishna, I am not able to tolerate this thing. This is very painful to me. And this is one of the aspect of devotional service also, to reveal our mind to Lord. So when we reveal our mind to Lord and pray, because it's difficult to reveal our mind to seniors and to counselors, because they will tell us something which will not like, that why you are not being told, why this is your mistake, or they will find some mistakes. But when we pray to Lord and we reveal our mind to Lord, Lord is very smiling, very peaceful, and very useful, and it also doesn't cause any heartburn to us. And therefore, if we cannot reveal to anybody, if we reveal to Lord that I'm not able to tolerate, please help me. He will give us necessary strength, and in this way, we can tolerate more. So, uh, even Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Instruction, verse number 1, he asks us to tolerate the urges of tongue, mind, anger, vacho vegam, mansa, krodha vegam, jiva vegam, rasa vegam, udarupasa vegam. So these are to be tolerated, and this is the most important thing. And even Krishna also tells us to tolerate. If we are able to tolerate and perceive in our devotional service, then we can grow. So in Canto 11th, verse number 20, we have heard this verse many times and recited also verse number 27 and 28. Jata Shaddu Mat Kathashu Nirvinna Sarva Karmashu Veda Dukkhatmakam Kamam Prityage Api Anishwara Tato Bhajeta Mam Prita Shadhalu Nishchaya Yushamanas Tat Kamam Dukkho Darkam Cha Garhayan. So have you awakened faith in the narration of my glories, being disgusted with all material activities, knowing that all sense gratifying leads to misery, but still unable to renounce all sense enjoyment. My devotee should remain happy and worship me with great faith and conviction. So one has to tolerate one's own shortcomings. If one cannot tolerate one's own shortcomings, then one cannot grow in devotional service. And here Krishna tells us that he is disgusted with material activities and still knows that sense meditation is bad, but still is not able to renounce the sense enjoyment. Even though he sometimes engages in sense enjoyment, my devotee knows that all sense gratification leads to miserable result, and he sincerely repents such activities. So one should tolerate and then should also repent that the wrong which is done. So the beginning, this is a very nice purport. We'll discuss some of the points from this also. The beginning stage of pure devotional service is described here by the Lord. A sincere devotee is practically seen that all material activities lead only to sense gratification, and all sense gratification leads only to misery. So this is of the one of the important relation one should have, that all material activities which lead to sense gratification only leads to misery. Till the time one does not come to this conclusion that sense gratification does not lead to misery, if one indulges in sense gratification, then he will not have the realization and will not be tolerant to sense gratification, but he will be doing the seventh offense, that on the name of the Lord, one is doing offense. One is committing offense on the name of one is committing sin on the name of the Lord. So this is also offense. So one should uh, try to do his sadhana and should understand it is bad. So anarthas cannot be removed by us. Anarthas can be only be removed by Lord. All these difficulties, calm, growth, low, can be removed by Lord. But one should not cultivate anarthas. One should not, like we say that we should not water the weeds. So like this, one should not cultivate anarthas. If one cultivates anartha, then it will be very difficult. Like suppose one has uh, one likes to eat rasgullas a lot, and the doctor says that he should not eat, otherwise it will ruin his health. So to get discharge from Rasgulla is not a natural thing. He has to do a lot of sadhana and only get discharge. But then his job is not to cultivate that anatta, means not to see again and again Rasgulla and see like this, oh, this Rasgulla I will see, I will just not eat, but I will just see. If he takes the first step of seeing the Rasgulla, then the next step will come, all his memory will be revived, that the taste which he had last time when he had Rasgulla. And when the taste is revived, he will think, and after some time, unknowingly, the Rasgulla will go in the mouth. And then again, he'll say, oh, I should have not done. So this kind of repentance will not work because he has himself gone to the cultivated. So senses should not meet sense objects. He should not see and not hear. Otherwise, the problem will go. Thus a devotee sincere desires to engage 24 hours a day in loving service of Lord Krishna without any personal motivation. So he desires to establish his conscious position with Lord as eternal servitor, and he prays to Lord to elevate him his exalted position. But because of one's past sinful activities and bad habits, one may not immediately be able to completely extinguish this enjoying spirit. So he tries a lot, but he's not able to do, and that is what he is being told to tolerate. And here the Lord here encourages such a devotee not to be overly depressed or morose, but to remain enthusiastic and go on with his loving service. So this is a type of tolerance which Krishna tells us to practice, where he knows it is wrong, but still because of past impressions, past anartha, is not able to stop himself and does this act. And this is what he needs to tolerate. And there the Lord encourages, do not be depressed and morose, do not worry. Gradually you will be able to overcome. So the word nirvinna indicates that a sincere devotee, although somewhat entangled in the remnants of sense graduation, is completely disgusted with material life and under no circumstance willingly commits sinful activities. This word willingly is very important. If one willingly commits, then there is no point. But he tries that I want to restrain, I want to refrain from it, but somehow being unable to refrain myself, then this work helps, and then this thing helps. In fact, he avoids every kind of materialistic activity, uh, but he's unable to do. A pure devotee certainly feels spiritual affection for all living entities, including the so-called wife and children, but he knows that material bodily attraction leads to no good, for it simply entangles one and one's so-called relatives in a miserable chain of restriction of fruitive activities. And therefore, the word Drida Nishchaya indicates that in any circumstance, the devotee is completely determined to go on with his prescribed duties what? For Krishna. So tolerating is all the anathas and activities and his nature. One should go on with his prescribed duties. And he thinks, by my previous shameful life, my heart is polluted with many injury attachments, but personally I have no power to stop them. Only Lord Krishna within my heart can remove such inauspicious contamination. But whether the Lord removes such attachment immediately or let me go on afflicted by them, I will never give up my devotional service to him. So in this way, while tolerating all his anathas inside and external also, he tells that I will never give up devotional service. So he practices devotional service on one side and goes on tolerating all his anathas and bad habits, inner and outward, or from other devotees, from inner things also. And he is very determined, even if Lord places millions of obstacles in my path, and even if because of my offense I go to hell, I will never for a moment stop serving Lord Krishna. So this is a determination in which he practices, and in this way he sees that I will practice these things. Therefore, I sincerely repent my foolish attachment to so many material things, and I am practically awaiting Lord Krishna's mercy. So in this way, he also repents and also awaits Krishna's mercy. So this is a way one should look, and we have seen so many verses of how 10:18, 10:14:8 also, where the verse speaks about how one tolerates the miseries at the same time awaits Krishna's mercy. And if this way one does, one becomes liberated from the birth and death cycle. So the Lord here advises that although one should sincerely repent, he should not become chronically depressed. So this is what I was speaking. that one should repent, but one should not become depressed. So humility does not mean that one should become depressed, and is an aspect of if one is humble, he will can be tolerant. And even the third aspect of giving respect to others, it can also only be done if one is humble and tolerant. So if we see the sequence, one it is it first is humility, then tolerance, and one is then third is giving respect, and then fourth is not to expect anything from others. But in actual life, when we are taught, the first thing which we do is to give respect to others and to offer danvats to Krishna and deities. So when we come to temple, we first offer danvats to the devotees, then to Prabhupada, and then to Krishna and all. So in that way, when we offer danvats, then the tolerance comes, and then the humility comes, and then we can grow more. So offering dandavats is one of the aspect which, if we can practice regularly and can do more, may not be externally but internally. And we have seen our acharyas like Raghunath Das Goswami, Arup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and all. They used to offer dandavats very often while doing parikrama to deities, to devotees, and all. And offering obeisances is one aspect which can be done easily, and it helps us to develop tolerance and to also develop humility. And in this way, one can grow in his tolerance. So, by faithfully hearing of the mercy and glories of the Lord, one will gradually be freed from all material desire and clearly see at every moment the utter frustration of sense gratification. Chanting the glories of the Lord with firm faith and conviction is a tremendous, powerful spiritual process that enables one to give up all material association. And there is actually nothing inauspicious in the devotion of the Lord. So, chanting the glories of the Lord with firm faith and conviction, and is a powerful spiritual process which will help us to give all material association also. So, in this way, there are other points also to discuss in this thing. So, further, Prabhupada speaks, one's inability to tolerance an offense committed by another is called amersha, and one's inability to tolerate the opulence of another is called jealousy. Jealousy and amersha are both caused by intolerance. So when one is intolerant, so one cannot tolerate offense by others. So see, one is to tolerate our own shortcomings. The another thing is to tolerate another's offense, which is a higher level. So if we can tolerate another's offense and not take the offense by heart, actually we are serving the other person also. So you mean see in the whole Bhagavatam, when the other person is not able to tolerate the offense by one person, the other person gets the reaction. Like in the case of Chittaketu and Parvati, if we see, Chitraketu was not doing anything wrong, but Parvati could not tolerate the offense done by Chitraketu in what he spoke. Actually, he did not mean anything wrong, but Parvati took an offense. And in that way, what happened was Parvati cursed Chitraketu Maharaj. So one is to tolerate ourselves and others, but if we can tolerate others, what happens if we don't take offense, then others' devotional progress is also been gone further, and his devotional progress is not been obstructed by us. And this is the service we can do for others. So suppose we take offense from other person that he has done this is wrong, then what happens is he will incur some offense. One of the offense of the holy name is the first offense he will get, and in this way, what will happen is his devotional service will get obstructed. And if we don't take the offense which he has done, what will happen? His devotion services go on progressing very fast. So one of the higher aspects of tolerance is if we can tolerate others being they offend us, and we don't take that very we don't give importance to that. So this is which we see even higher aspects of tolerance which we can practice. And in case of Krishna also, if we see, Krishna tolerates the offenses done to him, but he does not tolerate the offenses done to his devotees. And we see the special case of Ramchandra Puri, if we see in Antya Leela, chapter 8, where he criticizes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of how he eats and how it is. So it is was nature of Ramchandra Puri, because he didn't serve his guru nicely, and at the end of the departure of his guru, he spoke something which was not too good, and therefore gradually he glide down in his devotional service. So there, if we see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tolerates the offenses done by Ramchandra Puri, and not only tolerates, he gives due respect to him, and he did not take that very offensively, which was done to him. And this is how it has been shown. But at the same time, when Durvasa Muni does his offense to Ambrisha, that time he doesn't tolerate. At that time, if you see the conversation, Durvasa Muni says to Vishnu that I am a Brahmana and you have told that Brahmanas are very dear to him. Then why are you not forgiving me? And that time Krishna says that Amrish is a devotee and he has given up so many things, Putta, Dap, Ara, and all the things, Sri Putta and all things. What have you given up? So when Durvasa Muni had told that the demon he had been kept the demon on the Amrish Maharaj was standing as it is. He did not do anything. But Durvasa Muni, when the chakra was behind him, he was flying for his life. So here Vishnu says that you ran, you are not so tolerant, and therefore, if you want forgiveness, you should go to my devotee Amrish Maharaj. And if you see what Amrish Maharaj was doing at that point of time, he was waiting for Durvasa to come for the whole year. And after he came, again he prayed to Sudarshan Chakra that please forgive Amrish Maharaj, and he glorified Sudarshan Chakra and told that to go. So in this way, if we see, the higher aspects of being tolerant are being given. And in this way, if we can practice tolerance as an internal part, then our devotional practice will be much more greater. So it doesn't mean that externally we may not do what is necessary. Suppose if we are if we, there is a theft done in our house, internally we may understand that is Krishna's will and we may tolerate, but externally we may file a police complaint or whatever necessary we may do. But internally, what is our consciousness will help us to grow further. And in next verse number 15, so the another aspect of how we can become tolerant is we should know that all the activities which are done by the three modes. Prakriti Kriyamani Guna Karma Shubhyaksham. So this all are done by goodness, passion, and ignorance, and therefore we should know that other person is not at fault because of the quality which is acquired. These things are done by him. So if we understand that all are spirit soul, then we will naturally be tolerant, and this tolerance can come as natural quality if we are on this level of spiritual soul. So then we can practice very easily. Otherwise, on bodily platform, all these qualities will be difficult for us to practice in the long run. And therefore, in verse number 15, it's all this thing are given. And if we see even in Vasudev's episode, when he tolerated all his sons being killed, that time also Sukdev Goswami called that what a devotee cannot tolerate. He can tolerate everything. But then what he cannot tolerate is separation from Lord. And this we can see how Dwarkavasis and when Krishna goes out of sight, how they are not tolerating all the queens of the Krishna. They are not able to tolerate the separation from Krishna. So separation from Krishna and devotees are one thing we cannot tolerate at any point in our life. But all other things, all things we can tolerate. So this is from um this. Then just uh, just to conclude, one thing from the Japa affirmations book, which we need to tolerate ourselves and improve the quality of our Japa gradually. So I organize my life to make Japa the important activity of my day. So this is one of the affirmation we can do. And the best which I like, which I was reading is, I make excellent Japa my standard and focus on continuously improving. So one of the most important goals of the Japa workshop, which is this affirmation, encourages is to come to a point in which bad Japa is unacceptable to you. So this is one thing we should not tolerate, to do bad japa. It should be unacceptable. See, we may strive, we may struggle, whatever may have a condition or physical condition, we may sometimes have to work very hard. Sometimes the night we may not be able to sleep properly. Sometimes there are many things, but we should not accept that every day we'll do bad japa. So it's unacceptable to you. In other words, you internally set a higher standard of japa for yourself, and anything below this standard becomes an unacceptable way of chanting. Secondly, this affirmation is meant to help you always strive to improve the quality of your japa. The reason is this affirmation is so important is that it addresses the problem of chanting poorly without correcting ourselves. We all have allowed ourselves from time to time to chant 16 very bad rounds. This is I also do. I chant very bad rounds every day. So I am trying to improve, but it's a great task to do good japa, and therefore it's difficult. But and I allowed to do bad japa because the goal is somehow or other I should complete my 16 rounds. That's the goal. If it's good, bad, nothing, it works. Let it go. But I should complete. But after some time, what happens is there is dissatisfaction, and then internal dissatisfaction leads to find that what is the problem, and then we can see that our japa is bad. And when you see japa is bad, then we can understand japa is bad because of the other 22 hours how it went. Because whatever comes in our japa either needs some action or needs some rectification. Because if we see there are continuously sensual thoughts coming on some continuous we are planning in japa, that means in our 22 hours we have not done good planning of our things, or we had bad association with something, or the intake which we took through our ears, through our eyes, was not that good, and that needs to be rectified in our due course. So further, additionally, if you endeavor to improve, there is often a fear or at least concern that the improvement won't last, and that you will be back to your old bad japa habits. This is also I face so many times that sometimes it go improve, and after some time it goes down. So this affirmation, I make excellent japa my channel and focus on continuing improving. If we do it on regular basis, it will help us to, whenever we go down, we'll again improve. This affirmation is meant to encourage you to internally commit to never allow yourself to chant poor japa by creating an internal threshold that you will never allow yourself to go below, and then to never stop raising that threshold. So we should try to improve in improving our japa quality as far as we can, as far as our material condition, as far as our mental condition, as far as our spiritual conditions help us to grow. If you create a standard that's so deeply ingrained within you that if you ever go below that standard, you automatically correct yourself, then your japa will never be bad. It's like a fuel gauge. As soon as you see fuel gauge is empty, you fill up the tank. So whenever we see that it's going wrong, then we should either read japa naam mahatmay, or some affirmations, or some books, or some lectures, or something. That is the time we need to recheck what we can do to improve. Similarly, as soon as your japa level goes below good, you will immediately fill it up. I will make excellent japa my standard is meant to prevent you from slipping back to old japa habits. Let us make both good japa and continual improvement our new standard. Let us never allow ourselves to chant anything but good rounds. If we can deeply imbibe this consciousness that is bad japa is non-negotiable, the effects of the quality of our japa and on our lives will be insignificant. So this is what we cannot tolerate in our life, doing bad japa, not growing in our spiritual life. This we should not tolerate. Others, we should try as far as our intelligence go, as far as our mental abilities go, as far as our determination goes. We should try to tolerate the circumstances. We should try to tolerate the our mind and senses, devotees, circumstances, because we preach a lot, Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Adhyatmik. But when it comes to us, at least I have seen myself that I am not able to tolerate much, and therefore seeking your blessings and your wishes that I may able to follow someday this golden standard, Because till the time we do not cross this third verse of Sishtastkam, Triyadabi Sunshana Taroeva Savishnu Amanya Mandina Ketan Sari, we cannot reach to the level of Nishtha. Until the time we cannot reach to the level of Nishtha, actual bhakti doesn't start, because till that time bhakti is in the mode of Rajogun, Tamogun. Until the time actual bhakti doesn't start, we are not actually coming to Madhyam Adhikari level. And if we don't come to the Madhyam Adhikari level, if the society is of Kanishtal Adhikaris, then we cannot see that the whole society can grow and there is peace among society, among devotees. And there will be always conflict, and this conflict can sometimes may even destroy the whole community. And therefore, it's very essential and needed that we ourselves grow in our devotional service and help others around us to grow in whatever way we can, to at least reach Madhyam level, to at least the stage of Nishtha in this life. And if we can grow further, then we can go much. Like yesterday, Mahabharat Pros was speaking from Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani, the stages of devotional service, how one grows from the terms I cannot understand much, the Mishra, the Karma Jnana, and all these things, and all the Yoga mission, all. But gradually we should improve. And day before yesterday also, Siddhoham, the Siddhi, which we get, the satisfaction which we get by reading, learning Bhagavatam, and by practicing it thoroughly. If we see all the characters from Bhagavatam, there are only some things which is discussed again and again. It's repeated in every story. If we can get the essence of Bhagavatam, I think our life will be successful. And we are so fortunate to have such association, so fortunate to have such Bhagavatam, such holy name, and such teachings and such devotees around us. If we take advantage, we can grow. And if we do not take advantage, then we have to tolerate ourselves and take birth again and then tolerate the material world again. So choice is ours, what we need to tolerate and what where we need to grow in our life. Thank you very much. If I have spoken something which was not good, I am very sorry. And if there are some comments, some feedback, some reflections, or some questions, then we can have some for 1 or 2 minutes. He always says that the other devotee will also have. They are genuinely trying to grow.
Hare Krishna Guruji. Thank you for a nice class. So my question is, uh, you said that we should not keep any expectation from others, right? But we try to do it, but unknowingly we expect something. Like if we have a devotee friend also, we expect that he should give a time, or maybe counselor expect that counselor should give more time to him.
Yeah.
So this expectation we keeps, and sometimes we it get we get a time or we don't. It's like that. So, but we cannot overcome that very easily. How to like go beyond this?
To have expectation is not bad. To have expectation that expectation will be fulfilled is bad. So to have good association is good. If we don't expect to have good association, how will we grow? If seniors don't give us time, how will we grow? If we don't get good classes, how will we grow? Ourselves, if I am with my mind and my senses, I am going down day by day. I can see myself going down. So only in association of good devotees, I can speak something good comes out. When I'm in my private time, I know what I am doing. I in my mobile, I'm doing 10 other time pass things. So to expect that thing is not bad, but it should be realistic that how much time we can get from seniors, how much time we can get from counselors. So before even meeting counselors or senior devotees, we should be ready. What type of readiness should we have? One of the devotees was, I had one of the class, he was saying that before even meeting a counselor, you should be ready with your question answers. That what are you doing nowadays? What are the areas where you need to improve? So you should be ready with the question that these are the questions I need to ask, and what are answers I need, I will take answers and go on. What happens most of the times we are not prepared before meeting. If counselor asks, how are you? Yes, I am good. How are things? Everything is going good.
Do you have a problem? No problem. No, you can go. But we are specific. Today, I am feeling very lusty. Nowadays, my lust has gone up. I'm studying with lust. Can you give me some solution for this lust problem? Then this is meaningful, and the counselor will also give you time because he sees that he's very specific and he knows what he asking. And then if you implement, he will give you more time. And the best way to get time is to serve. Nobody will give you time freely. But if you serve that person, you will get unlimited time. Service is that thing which can help you to get time from any person in this world. If you don't serve, then you will not get time because that other person also has so many responsibilities. If the other person responsibility is shared, anyways, he will like to give time. Why he is not giving you time? Because the time is given to other persons. See, there are 24 hours. So you are divided between so many persons. If you take some time from that activity, you do that activity, that time is free for you. So that you can do. You can find out something which you can do, something you can delegate, some things, and then can find time. It's not difficult. And second, you can always pray to Krishna, that I need association. I'm in very bad shape. Krishna can help you. Devotees can help you. But you need to be very specific why you need the association for. And you should also know whom to take association from. There may not be one devotee, there may be so many devotees who you can take association and you can get guidance also. I know so many devotees who travel thousands and thousands of kilometers to take association. There are some devotees, wherever Maharaj goes, they go to year classes, maybe in Chowpatty, maybe in Vrindavan, so many places they go. They take that extra effort to go to that places to year. Are we determined that much that we toil that much? I want an association of that person. I will go to that limit. It all depends on intensity. How intense are we in our needing association? If we are not intense, Krishna will not provide that opportunity to associate. So ultimately, we can only desire. The desires are fulfilled by Krishna. And we can only go down because of our mind and our senses. It only can degrade. Upgradation can be done only by persons who are spiritually elevated. I can see in my own life. I'm degrading day by day.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much. Just you explained that tolerance and compassion is two sides of coin, one coin. This compassion also expressed by forgiveness. We forgive. But my question is that how this dual thing creates Akirti,
How
Jaso, this dual thing, this Dwanda in your
Huh?
mind. Jaya, Parajaya, Hyarda, Sukha, Dukkham, Mrityu, Jivit. What is the root cause and how we can?
Bodily identification. The root cause is till the time we are not spiritual on spiritual soul. What Krishna says, I am an atomic spiritual soul, eternal servant of Krishna. मैं एक अनु आत्मा कृष्ण का नित्य दास हूं. Till the time we are not situated on that platform, we'll see all these dualities. The whole problem is being on the material platform. On spiritual platform, the soul cannot be cut, the soul cannot be dried, the soul cannot be done anything. So there is no Jaya and Parajay. There is soul is on Sachidanand platform. Where is unhappiness for that? It's all on bodily platform only. So main problem is staying on bodily platform. So gradually, if we don't grow from material to body platform, we cannot raise ourselves. Then this Jaya Parajay Sukh will always be there in our life. There is no way out.
Krishna instructed to Arjun that you should be tolerate first. Sukha, Dukkha,
Yeah.
Samakrita.
So it starts with the bodily. The first thing is to tolerate the senses. That it does not come to sense objects. And gradually then mind intelligence all comes. And at the same time, when we practice our spiritual practices, our soul gets the strength. So both ways work. And therefore, if you see, the first thing which Krishna starts is speaking about soul and body, and that is success. If we just can come on that platform of soul, that we are this the soul, we are not this body, that is also success, which Krishna describes in chapter number 2.
Yes. My just understanding that when Krishna says that ichha dvesa, it is due to our sinful activities. Dvando mohena bharata sammahang sarvabhutana. Then the next verse he said that jesang tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvando moho nirmukta. Means he can overcome this duality who has finished his sinful activities. So that is one cause, that sinful activities, that due to this sinful activity that we consider ourselves that we are body. Yes. The root cause.
So what is your question? I think your
Then
answer.
the root cause is the sinful activities. Main root cause. Then we can identify that we are body. Because Krishna says, Jesang tu antagatang papam, then te dvanda moha nirmukta. Then he can be free from this duality.
But how does sin come? What is the root cause of sins?
This ichha dvesa samutvena.
How does Ichha Desha come? See, on the bodily platform, we also do Ichha Dvesha. And on the spiritual platform, we also do. So basically, if we just convert our desire to spiritual platform, the root cause of sin, that is the Ichha Desha, will go, and then the sin will also go. That is what my limited 5 paisa of understanding. And there are these stalwarts studying here. Mahavata is there, Gauranga Prabhu is there, and there's some. They're all stalwarts. Sridhani Mahaprabhu, they can all explain you very nicely, I think.
No, you explained rightly, but my just I expressed that a scene creates from the rajagun.
Yes,
Kama
so we have to come to the platform of Sattva Gun, from Sattva Gun to Shuddha
Yes.
Sattva Gun, and that is the place of Nishtha,
Mm.
where 70 to 75% of your sins are gone, or the vritti is gone, or whatever it is that the terminology is there. Rajagun, Tamogun gets over, and then Sattva Gun starts. I hope they can quote so many verses, and they can also quote the quotations from different chapters and different books also. I am very full in that aspect.
But you
I have not
express your
done. Oh, that I have just read now. I just heard 2 or 3 lectures yesterday. I just read and just spoke. That's all. That anyways I do.
ठीक है, लिस्ट पे 50% 70 नहीं